far away.
Normally, I'm wired for sound at this time of day, but Mishka, it's been a hell of a last couple days. I don't know if it's the vid or what's got me nipped in the butt right now, but I'm coughing up a storm. I got a gasser coming out my cheeks, and I'm friggin' congested beyond belief.
A week of sickness just got me clouded up too, man.
In the middle of the summer too. It's just like that at the middle of the summer.
But
What
I
the
know so many people that are sick either now or have been in the last 2 weeks.
really?
Oh yeah, a
Uh,
lot. And I don't
Holy
know if
shit.
it's just something going around or maybe it was that wildfire smoke that sent that just jacked up everyone's immune system or something because it happened right 2 days after the peak of that smoke is when I got sick, and
Where
I was working outside for
up
those
at
2 days,
camp?
which was probably not smart, but I had to. It was just I didn't have a choice.
What are they burning in Canada?
Yeah,
What's in that wildfire smoke up there?
what's in them Canadian pine trees that's got me
You,
all friggin' clouded up?
oh my gosh. My gosh, there's spy balloons coming. There's Canadian smoke coming over the land and just showering us with sickness. What the hell's going on in the world today? Holy shit.
Trying to damper everyone's immune system.
Oh, man, I tell you what, mine's dampered currently, and I feel like that's one of my strong suits. I haven't been sick in a while. Knock on woodies.
Well, you don't have to knock on it because you're already sick.
Eh, yeah, that's true. Don't knock on shit.
I feel like I'm just coming over the hump finally, but
Man,
maybe not. Maybe I just feel that way, and I'm
oh my gosh, dude.
not really humping anything.
Last night I was coughing so hard. I felt like my eyes were gonna pop out of my freaking head.
They're just watering. Why is it? I don't get why it's always at like. What is it about the nighttime that ramps up coughing? Because I'll be fine all day.
And it's I would say that it's when you lay down, so your body, when you get
Yes.
horizontal, but it starts before that. Like
Yeah.
mine started before that. Like I going to bed, I'm like, this is messed up. I'm not good right now.
Yeah. What is it? Is it your body's just like, it's starting to get tired for the day because you've been up for whatever, 16 hours, and it's like, we're going to start hammering you with some coughs.
Jeez, oh man, it was not good last night. It was not good. Your boy was struggling, to say the least. But we're back, goose chasing another round, a Wednesday hump day, getting you through that week. Goose chasing brought to you by TAGNBRAG and TAGNBRAG Productions. Also, TNB Apparel. Head to our website, www.tagendbrag.co. Check out our monthly apparel, some land management stuff. We got Food Plot Chronnies, a new episode coming out, or the first episode of Food Plot Chronnies coming out later this week. Pretty pumped about that. Dino's been hard at work up on the hill, and
Doing a
yeah,
lot of things right, doing a lot of things wrong.
well, that's how it rolls. That's how we roll, baby. You can't be perfect. Nobody's perfect. You just got to try shit and navigate from there.
Life of farming and trying to teach yourself.
I mean, you can imagine the stress that farmers actually have. Obviously, the equipment is a lot more sophisticated than the equipment that we're using, and it's on a much larger scale. But with that being said, it's on a much larger scale, and it's their livelihood. If shit don't work, you ain't getting paid for it.
You got to do a lot of things right
Yeah.
in a small amount of time, and then a lot of other things have to go right too. The weather.
Well, yeah,
Just,
you're up against the weather, so you're up against Mother Nature, which we have zero control over. So there's that.
and there's no like you can all every year you can say, okay, this year I'm going to get my stuff in. The last couple days in May. That's what I want to do. Last couple days in May, but that doesn't matter because
Yeah.
if it doesn't set up that way weather wise, like you can plan for that time all you want. It doesn't matter. It's out the door.
It's like having trail cameras up right now and thinking that they're going to do something for you come October and November. They don't
They're not.
fucking matter.
Just for fun.
They don't fucking matter. You can think they matter, but they don't. It's cool to see velvet bucks and growing and stuff. I mean, we got cameras out everywhere right now. We got the Moultrie Mobiles burning fuel right now. And it's because we like to see velvet bucks growing. We like to see what's in the area, you know, if you recognize a deer, stuff like that. But if you're using it as a scouting tactic, I can tell you right now, you're wasting your daggum time. Because there's a lot of people that think they're killing deer right now because they got them on trail camera. And you know what? Come September and October, they're going to be like, oh my God, the season started. Where'd this deer go? I've never seen it before. I've never seen it. He knows exactly when to leave. No, he's summering in a spot right now. And when the time comes, I mean, listen, the bucks are in the bachelor groups right now, right? 4, 5, 6 of them, 3 of them, 7 of them. I don't know. They're batched up right now. Do you see them batched up come end of September, early October, and definitely, especially middle October into November? No. They lickety split. They go on their own. They're marking their territory. They're finding their honeys. They're moving around. So all the bucks that you see on camera right now, I'm sorry, you're not going to see them once the season starts. Sometimes it's good not to see bucks right now because more than likely you're seeing a lot of does, and if there's a lot of does in your area, the does aren't really going to disperse and go different places once the rut comes around. The bucks are going to come to them. So if you got the does in October, you're going to have the bucks. Something to think about.
Something to think about. I mean,
we always used to stress ourselves out about that stuff.
Yeah, no, and I honestly still do, even though I know the result. Because the last 2 years, we haven't had anything on camera
during this.
Now.
No, well, I mean, Nipsey and Neil a couple years ago. Well, I guess that was that was 3 years ago now.
3 years ago now, and they didn't show up. We didn't see them until like July.
Yeah, you're right. We did not. They were pretty much full grown when we started seeing them.
But man, last year was literally dorm. I mean, nothing.
No, nothing.
Not a thing. And this year is honestly kind of the same.
Yeah, because we didn't start seeing. We saw Cartman. Actually, all the bucks. Cartman, Bernie.
We saw nothing in velvet.
Nothing in velvet. Yeah, you're right. And Jamario, none of them were in velvet.
No. I think we got a picture of Jamario hanging velvet.
Okay. Yeah, I think
one,
right.
And then didn't see him again for like 3 weeks.
That son of a bitch.
But man, it's hard because you don't get like even in Ohio, I tried to check on a couple cameras, just make sure the weeds and everything were cleared of the viewage, put a little mineral out. And I'm just like, yeah, you just hoping you're seeing stuff, but you know, we're getting the little guys, but that's about it.
There's a couple decent bucks starting to show up at camp here and there.
Yeah,
nothing like none of the older ones. It looks like you know some 2-3 year old, but some racked bucks anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's better than what we were seeing last year. A couple down here in Tennessee that are half decent.
Half a decent.
Well, we celebrated Father's Day yesterday, or the world celebrated Father's Day yesterday. Happy Father's Day to Papa TNB. Happy Father's Day to Uncle Jay. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. To be honest, it's we have them to thank for the position for this.
Yes,
for being right here.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's kind of crazy, but we were fortunate enough to grow up in a family that immersed us into the outdoor lifestyle at a very young age. And it lit a fire. That's for sure.
It did light a fire, a big one, big old fire.
It lit a fire, but I think part of it was because of how passionate Dad and Uncle Jay were, even Grandpa, just the generations that brought us into it, how passionate all of them were about hunting. Because
Yeah, that's how we learned it.
I mean, yeah, it's like it was a way of life from the rip, but it wasn't like a half-ass like, oh yeah, we'll go, do this on the weekends. I mean, they were pulling us out of school for this stuff.
No, you felt like, I mean, you felt like you were seriously missing out if you missed a weekend of hunting.
Right.
Like it was FOMO. FOMO for real. Because when I was playing basketball and I was always like, it had me very stressed as a young boy. Just
Yeah.
missing, like, even I would figure out a way, mom or dad, they figure out a way to get me up there Saturday afternoon to be able to hunt Saturday afternoon, Sunday. But just missing the morning on Saturday, I was like, gosh, this is terrible.
Isn't that nuts?
This is
I
so
mean,
terrible. I'm missing a whole morning.
that is so crazy. But it is. I mean, and when we were growing up, the season was shorter up in New York. It didn't start until October 15th. Bow season didn't start until October 15th. We had 5 weeks, 5 weekends of bow season. There was like, I don't
And
know
the
when it
fifth weekend was
was rifle right or was gun
when
season open on Monday. Yeah.
on Monday. Yeah, so you really
We didn't hunt Sunday for sure.
no.
We really didn't. We sometimes we bow hunted Friday, maybe Saturday morning, and then we thought like, oh yeah, we're gonna leave the woods alone for like
Just
a day and a half.
let all the game come to us because
Yeah,
nothing's pressured anymore.
no, not at all. And then from Monday on, it would be all a friggin' war zone
Yeah,
in the bush. But it was, I mean, it was, and even all the way up into our college years, it was um we were planning our schedule, our class schedule around hunting. Like
really though.
Once Dean got into college, it was like plan your schedule Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, load up classes, and that gives us 4 days to peace out and hunt in the fall.
Yeah,
And that's what we did.
that is what we did. It's kind of crazy. I mean, our friends thought we were nuts.
Oh, well, how
They're
could you
like,
not?
you guys are missing weekends at Ohio State.
And it
To
was
go,
just it was just the fall. So
yeah, right.
it wasn't like that we did that all of college, but yeah, in the fall, like yeah, we're going to hunt. That's what we're going to do.
This is what we like to do.
I mean, there's so many memories to like look back and just think about. I mean, memories of deer that we didn't get, memories. Yeah, I mean, like I can think about times where we're watching Dad shoot a buck, before we could even hunt. But
Oh yeah, so yeah,
I mean, several times, because we would pair up. One of us would go with Uncle Jay, one of us would go with Dad. Bow season, get in the tree, and get ready to fling. I remember it was like when we got old enough to know what was going on, we would beg Dad the first like couple weeks of the season, just hold out on one like a forker.
yeah,
Like, just hold out for like an 8-point or something, like an 8-point, like a basket 8, 2-year-old 8-point was like, if we would have gotten one of those in bow season, holy shit.
monster.
World Series
Yeah.
title.
Oh yeah.
We got it. Fucking make a ring. Give us the trophy. That was it, man. But we would always try and get Dad to hold out for the first 3 weeks. And then like that last week was always the last 2 weeks were always like the first 2 weeks in November. So that was really when things were amping up. Really, if you were going to hold out for anything, like that would be the time to hold out for.
Oh yeah.
Looking back on it all, once you got to November. But I don't know. Sometimes it happened, and sometimes a 6-point came cruising by, and all that he saw were cutlets, and that arrow was flying.
Sorry.
I remember. So I'll go through a couple memories, but one with Uncle Jay for sure. the first deer that I saw get smoked by an arrow and go down like in sight, couldn't fucking believe it. Could not believe it. I think we were up on the upper, what we called the upper orchard, got in the stand. It was early. Heard some like leaves rustling from behind us. This 6-point is walking on a string, like right to the tree. And I remember Uncle Jay had to like turn around get around the tree, like to the back side. I mean, this deer's going to come right up behind us at like 15, 18 yards, I think. Dude, he pulled back and there was a branch like right at probably forehead level. So when he pulled his bow back, he had to like dip down under the branch. And I remember him dipping down. And when he did that, like I was kind of over his right shoulder, and the the deer was in a wide open lane. I mean, he was right there. Like I could see it perfectly now still, like a movie. He comes out from behind the tree to me, and he's literally right there. Uncle Jay stops him right through both lungs, dude, and we watched this thing on a dead run, like 60, 80 yards through the woods, just poof, crash through the leaves and kick a little bit, and he was done. And I didn't up until that point, I didn't know that could happen. Like
Yeah.
I thought that tracking was always like a thing. Like that was a thing. I was like, holy shit.
Goose
Like that
chasing
thing
was
that
what was supposed to happen.
exactly. You had to go on a goose chase. So when I saw, like, that was the first time I was like, oh my God. I never expected that. Didn't think that was possible. Like, no,
Yeah.
we never talked about that
That's
happening at all.
so funny. My gosh, so funny. I think
But
the cool thing is that we always wanted to be out there. It had nothing to do with like us shooting, us hunting.
right.
And it's still not like that. That's what's kind of cool. It's like all of us, we just want to be out. Like we just want to be there.
Yeah, you just want to be there
I
together.
don't care if I'm cameraman or I don't even care if I'm nothing. You just want to be out there.
You want to witness the
Yeah, you just want to
wanna
be out there
witness it.
together on the
sure.
hunt.
Right.
On the hunt. But I think that's one of the coolest things that Dad and Uncle, they helped us gain. Like they helped us.
Oh, for sure.
They gave us that fuel, because there is a difference between like, if I'm not being the hunter, I want to go,
Right.
Because it's honestly, that's totally secondary to us. But yeah, that's cool. I don't know. I got a million stories with
I know.
with
I'm
Dad.
thinking of so many right now.
Oh my God, I could go on for days. A side note of a memory. I think the coolest thing is, like, even like, because this is work for us. It is. And sometimes you get wore out and tired.
Mhm.
But Dad specifically has never the freaking getting fired up to go in the woods.
Oh my
Like the
gosh.
fuel it never even goes down a little bit.
Mm-mm.
And that refuels you, because
No, for sure it does.
Because it doesn't matter what time of year it is. It doesn't matter if
if it's raining, snowing.
It doesn't matter if you're doe hunting. Yeah, it doesn't
Right.
matter what you're hunting. You could be beaver hunting, and like heart rates are high. Heart rates are high. So, but that's why everybody does it. That's why people hunt. So to be able to have that for every hunt, and like no matter what you're hunting,
Literally.
honestly, it keeps us going, because if people say when you lose that, stop doing it,
Yeah.
or when you don't have that anymore, you're doing it for the wrong reasons or whatever. But that has never, not only has it not gone away, it probably has amplified
Over the years, it definitely is
continuously
For sure.
amplifies.
For sure it has.
Because there's no shortage of adrenaline and just getting fired up to get in the woods.
Speaking about getting fired up, I remember the first buck that I shot with a bow. And I went through so many hardships with a bow in my hand, and Dad behind me, or you in the stand with me, like probably a couple years worth of just missing deer, drawing back and the deer spooking, not being able to draw my bow when, a deer's right there, whatever. And finally, one morning, once again, up in the upper orchard, Dad and I are hunting probably like 150 yards apart. He sticks this 6-point early, and I'm sitting there. I had seen a couple deer. Finally, like I hear once again leaves coming from my right. I look, and there's this little gangly 5-point just coming right down the trail right to me. And I'm like, oh yeah, baby. I had this like little Browning bow, and I remember the little like tiny, tiny diameter aluminum arrows. And dude, this thing read the script, man. He came 15 yards, perfect, drew back, stopped him. I mean, I hit him. Arrow didn't go through. I had to be shooting, I don't know, 40 pounds. Like I was just over the legal limit for shooting. And he wheeled around 180 and ran back in the same direction that he came from through the hardwoods. And I was so pumped up. I mean, I watched him for probably 80 yards, but then he was gone. And so Dad goes, I think he went to like either track or find his deer or whatever. Then he came to me, and we start tracking this deer, dude. And I kid you not, Dad is like, there was good blood, so he's following it, and I'm trying to keep up with him, trying hard to keep up with him, and I can't. And tracking this thing. All of a sudden, he finds this deer, dude. He went nuts. Nuts. I hadn't even seen the deer on the ground yet. He runs back to me. He freaking picks me up, bear hug, squeezes me. Literally, I thought both of my eyes were just gonna shoot out of my head because he squeezed me so hard.
Oh,
it was, but that was it. I mean, that's part of how we got hooked, and I'll never forget that ever a day in my life. Like I can literally see that whole hunt happening in my head as we're talking through it.
yeah,
And
that's awesome.
even the track job and everything, it was it was insane. But man, you're right. I mean the adrenaline, there's never a lack of adrenaline, that's for sure.
Oh my God, never. But no, that's awesome. I mean, you can't even for dads and future dads, look at you. You remembered that you remember that vividly for the rest of your life.
Right.
Or still now.
I mean, that was
however
I was
long
trying to
ago,
think.
20
I
years
was
ago.
14 when I shot my first deer with a bow. So yeah, that was 21 years ago.
But yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's just
there's so many memories though. I like another time I remember I was sitting in the same stand, and Dad was across the field. Uncle Jay had stuck up a nice, what he said was a nice 8-point in the lower orchard, and it was kind of drizzling a little bit, and he was going to give it some time. And I had actually already shot a deer. I shot a buck 2 days prior, but I was doe hunting. I was kind of in the corner field stand. I could see the whole field. I could actually see 2 different fields. So I was just kind of observing. Once again, this was back when we had the walkie-talkies with us.
Yeah.
And Dad was across the field, and he's on. Uncle Jay had already stuck this buck. He was going to back out and just give him some time because he had seen him lay down, and I thought maybe he got up or something. I can't remember. But Dad was across the field, and he gets on the radio, and he's like, there's a 10-point chasing the doe. Like, he's hyperventilating on the radio. 10-point chasing the doe, David, 10-point chasing the doe, this, that, whatever. I'm like watching for these 2 deer to break the field line.
Yeah.
And they never did. And I don't know, probably 20 minutes, a half hour went by, and Dad comes over the radio, and he is freaking out. I can just, oh my God, I just let one fly. 10-point. Oh yeah, he was far shot. 40 plus yards. And I'm like, holy shit.
Trying to figure out what's going on.
So I'm like, Dad, we finally get our bearings and give it a little bit of time. I'm like, Dad, I'm gonna get down, and I'm gonna come to you. I mean, I already had my bow tag filled, my buck tag filled anyway. I'm like, let me come to you, because it seemed like, from what I gathered on the radio, it seemed like the deer was kind of far when he shot. So he wasn't like 100. I mean, he knew that he took a good shot, but he wasn't 100% on exactly where he hit him. And the deer ran into some brush and was gone. So I get down, I hike all the way across the field. I get over to him. Dude, this is when Dad was hunting in his climber, and he's like 65 feet up in this tree. I mean, literally, he is sky high. Like, I don't know what happened between me and him, but I would never be that high. He was, the higher the better. The higher he could be in the tree, the better. So I get up, or he's still up in this tree. I'm like, direct me to where you shot the deer. So he kind of, directs me over, and I'm like looking back up into like his direction. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, he freaking launched one at this thing. He freaking launched one at this fucking.
Oh, that's amazing.
Dude, so I'm like down where he shot, and I'm looking back up. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. And he's like, had to be right there. There was like a log or something. He's like, he had to be standing right there. Well, I'm looking on the ground for a second, and whatever, 5-6 yards behind where he thought he was standing, I see like a fletching coming out of the leaves. And so I'm like, Dad, I found your arrow. Right after that, I found a little bit of blood. So I pull the arrow out, and I mean, it's coated in blood, bubbles and shit like that on the arrow. And so he climbs down. It takes him 35 minutes to get down because he's freaking so high in this tree. And he comes over. We walk like 8 to 10 yards, dude, and you could see white belly through the woods. And I'm like, Dad, there he is. He's like looking. He's trying to like figure out where this thing is. And he's like, where? I'm like, he's right there. He's like 60 yards in front of us. I could see the white belly plain as day. We go up there, and I mean, nice little tight rack 10 point.
Yeah.
So we were all fired up, drug him to the edge of the field, and then we go to help Uncle Jay. And this was hours at this point. It was hours after he had shot, because he looked a little bit for his deer. He couldn't find it. We go down at this point. It is piss and rain. Like it's raining. And we go to where he shot. He hit the deer, go to where the deer stopped. And then it just gets gnarly, gnarly, gnarly thick. And it was me, Dad, Uncle Jeffrey, and I think Cousin Davey. Was it the four of us? Yeah, I think it was the four of us. And so we all just kind of like split up into this like brush field. And we're all just walking real slow. And I kind of get on this path and just had like this weird feeling, like I was on his path. And I walk another like 20 yards, and this big fucker is laying like under this fallen tree branch, and he's kind of like all tucked under there. And I'm like, holy shit. I get on the radio. I'm like, I got him. I think I found him. I think I found your buck. I think I found him. Dude, they all come running over to me. And I didn't want to walk up to him. I didn't want to be the first person to walk up to him. And I didn't know if he was still alive or not, whatever. I'm like, he's right there. He's right there. And that was another memory. Like, I found both of those bucks for them.
Yeah.
But it was both of their better archery bucks at the time. And it was just, I don't know, one of those friggin' days where, like you said, you didn't have to be the one killing the deer.
You're just part of the hunt.
Being there was it. That made my whole season, because I had shot a buck a couple days before, and then I helped Dad find his, and then Uncle Jeffrey find his. We had two bucks hanging at the cottage, and I still had my rack from a couple days prior. Like 3 bucks in as many days was unheard of.
Yeah, it was unreal.
Back then. Yeah. Especially, they were all racked bucks. Like, we were like,
then it didn't. It was all a matter of points then. Didn't matter like how big this thing could have been. A 1.5-year-old. If it was an 8-point, everyone was like, "Oh, you got an 8-point. You got an 8-point."
Oh man,
like, you just visualized it in your head instead of seeing it. You're like, "Oh, damn, you got an 8-point."
Damn, yeah, exactly.
It had to be big.
Oh man, that was good stuff. No,
that is awesome. Yeah, I could go on for days. But like last year in itself with the Bernie hunt, I mean, opening day has always just been, it's like the day, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's always been that way, and especially for Dad for sure,
Well,
and a
opening
gu-
day
a,
period, but opening day of gun season
yeah, any opening day,
is
but
like the holiday.
yeah, opening day at rifles, like, yeah, it's shit's going down.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think was last year. I think was the first year ever. It was just Dad and I hunting
Yeah.
on opening day, like the least that's ever been at camp. So it was just, yeah, it was just Dad and I, and we were literally hunting one deer. And we kind of both set up for him. So
What'd you guys do in the morning? I can't remember. Were you guys together in the morning?
yeah, we were together in the morning. We what the heck was it doing?
You guys had a snowstorm up
it was
there.
snowing really bad. Yeah, it was bad actually. Um, and our wind wasn't great for where we wanted to, where we set up in the afternoon. So we both went to Grandpa's Redneck right across from camp, and
Where Dad originally got the first shot of Don
yeah,
and
yeah,
Hook. I mean,
and
he's
Hook, a lot of good bucks out of that.
yeah, out of that spot, yeah.
That blind bow. Yeah, so we sat there for the morning. We got to enjoy the opening morning together. Only two on the whole property, and we were hunting together, which was awesome. We didn't end up seeing much. We saw a couple doe, I think, um, and there it was very slow. Like there was not any shooting going on. I don't think we heard a shot until like a half an hour after sunrise, which was unheard of for opening day in
Yeah.
New York. Normally, as soon as legal or before,
Yeah, a lot of
mainly
times
a lot of
before.
times before, you just start hearing shooting going on. You're like, man, it's opening day. Um, but yeah, it was a lot different. So we let the front go through and it was perfect. And then the wind switched and it cleared out a little bit. And we were just like, all right, we got to both get on some food for the evening. Um, but yeah, it was just cool because we did separate for the afternoon, but we were both like, yeah, we're like, we had a good idea that the deer was in there, and we're both like, both spots had a very good chance. At least we were very like very confident that it could happen at either one. So we were just fired up. But yeah, to have everything that went down that afternoon, and then yeah, Bernie came out at 4:30. Ended up he came out, but basically between us, like you said, he could have gone either way. He just ended up. I don't know if he was following a couple small doe or what he was doing up into the field I was in, but shooting him, and then yeah, just Dad and I going back in for the recovery. Like it was so badass going back in there
Yeah.
and having your dad there to recover your one of your best deer you've ever killed. Um and
And another homegrown
yeah, and it
buck.
and I smoked him, but I always, you know, when you don't see him go down, you second guess and stuff like that. But again, Dad's always the one that's like, oh, we got him. We got him. You know, like
Very
we're
optimistic.
going to get him. Like it doesn't matter where you hit him. Just like we got we're going to get him. We got him. We got this there. He's done. He's done. So anyway, he gives you that confidence, and he was right. He was literally right there. Um, but yeah, we paraded him out in the tractor. It was just yeah, vintage. I mean, it was a opening day that you can't draw it up any better, really. That's what
Probably
you
one of
want.
the better bucks that we've ever shot up there opening day.
Yep. Probably probably was the
Yeah. Other than Ricky's that
yeah.
one whatever
Oh
years
yeah.
ago.
Yeah,
But
he was definitely up there as well, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I could go on literally for days, but I think the funny thing is even now, well it's cool this year. You know, I've been doing a lot of the food plots myself the last couple of years, obviously with you being in Tennessee and stuff, Uncle Jay in Tennessee, but he's gotten really into helping with the food plots this year, which he's getting dialed in with the tractor, which is awesome because it's been a huge help. He's making some of our food plots look like just carpet of dirt. I mean, they look better than they've ever looked, which is awesome.
well, and it gives you, for the years that we did it, like it was kind of us giving back, but it's when you start doing it, when you start turning that ground on the tractor, you hunt with a different mindset.
Yeah.
It's a different appreciation
Yep.
because you're sitting over a field that you've created.
You
And
created, yeah.
that's a different it's a different ball game.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people that don't get to experience that, they just see the hunt side of it, and they just
Mhm.
see like, oh yeah,
Must be nice.
yeah, it must be nice sitting over a field of turnips or whatever beans. But yeah, first of all, yes, it is nice. It is nice. Um, second of all, it's rewarding when you did that. Like that field didn't just happen. I didn't just stumble
Right.
upon the field and oh, there's 100 deer in here. I'm gonna
Right.
hunt it. Like we created that, which is I don't know. It's very rewarding, and it's also very challenging to get fields to even grow good. So that becomes a whole side like passion and addiction in itself is just trying to get it them to grow good.
Especially up in New York where we're
Yeah,
at.
it's just so. I mean, obviously, weather and everything's always unpredictable, but it seems like the last couple of years up there have been like crazy. Usually, you can't get it to stop raining. This year, we can't buy rain. It's yeah, it's crazy. We're working with not great soil. Yeah, but it's cool to get him involved in that. Not only just to start, another passion of doing that, but just seeing what we've like you said, what we've put into it the last few years. You get to kind of experience that, like, oh man, this is a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, but and then with that, the hunting it never stops because you start planting these beans and stuff, and you realize that critters love
The
a nice
gophers.
fresh bean. But yeah, then we got groundhogs to hunt, and it's just so awesome because I do too. They're actually fun to hunt. Like people think it could be, it's stupid or pointless, but it is actually fun. You get an adrenaline rush going out there to sit in the same blinds that you deer hunt in, and you're waiting for groundhogs to come out that will literally destroy your field if you don't hunt them.
Oh
Like
yeah,
they
they'll
will
destroy.
take, yeah. They took out a quarter of one of our bean fields last year,
Right.
single handedly. So it's very important to hunt them, but it also just creates more fun. But he loves the varmint hunting. Sometimes I feel like he likes it more than the deer hunting. But you got to love the passion.
Yeah.
You got to love the passion. You can't teach someone getting that fired up to hunt any type of game. You
N-
literally can't.
No, you cannot. You
Um,
definitely cannot. But I mean, like you said, that's why we all do it, and that fuel has fueled us. And I mean, I think I talked about it on our last podcast or the last one that I did solo. Like that's why we got into it because of the values and because of those feelings that hunting has brought us. That we want more people to experience that. So if they can experience it through our content, or if our content, you know, makes them take that leap of faith to do it themselves, like that's a win for us. You
yep,
know,
100%.
that's a win for us. I don't know why this story is hilarious. And this dude, we were young. I mean, we were friggin' young at this point. Once again, we're up in the upper orchard. Dad and I had sat a majority of the morning and not seen a damn thing. And I always, dad, one of the things that dad always let me do was he let me hold the grunt call. Like he would let me wear the little lanyard around my neck, and he would have to hold me back from hooting on that thing every 15 minutes. But we're sitting there kind of getting antsy, whatever. It's getting towards the end of the morning, and like, all right, we're gonna get out. Okay. So dad starts our two stands. We had two stands right next to each other, a ladder stand and a little hang on. And dad starts climbing down the ladder. Okay. Well, he gets like halfway down the ladder, and I look up and there's three doe coming towards us. And I'm like, Dad, Dad, Dad. And he looks and he's, you know, whatever. He's like literally halfway on the ladder. These doe come up, and they literally, like, Dad is on the ladder. I'm on the stand, Dad's on the ladder, and these doe come right under us. Literally, they banana curl, and they come, like, right under the stand. And Dad's on the ladder. So these doe are, like, looking at us, and they're like, we see you. Like,
Yeah.
so they scamper off, whatever, and Dad climbs back up, and he's like, maybe we should, let's just stay another 10, 15 minutes or whatever. And so we stay, 10, 15 minutes, whatever, and it's quiet, whatever. We're wrapping up again. Dad's getting down again, getting down the ladder again. And dude, we hear leaves crunching. Now we can hear ch, 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 ch. So he's getting down the ladder. I'm literally on the ladder, and Dad's like, get back, go back up, go back up. Like, go up, go up. We get back up, we get in the stand, look up on the same path. This basket, like, little low-tined 8-point, and he's just he's coming, dude. He's coming. He is on their same trail. Dad's got, like, I don't even know how he was so. One of the doe was obviously hot, and this buck was obviously so keened in on that he didn't even pay any attention to us literally getting back into the tree. Dad getting his bow up, knocked an arrow. Dude, this buck reads the script. He banana curls, same trail. He gets Dad draws, and, like, this thing is coming right under our stand, dude. He gets right under our stand, and I friggin' in the grunt call. I don't know what got into me. I'm like, loud. I mean, just friggin' hammered this thing with a grunt right down his throat, dude. This deer is like 5 steps from our tree. He friggin' swings his head up, looks right at us. Dude, Dad friggin' shoots and slings one right over this thing's back. And I know I horrified Dad with the grunt call.
Oh yeah.
Dad would have just stopped him
a little farther
on his own and taken the shot when he was ready to. But I freaking hammered the grunt call from over his, like, left shoulder. This thing swings his head up, looks right at us, and Dad shoots right over the top of him. And Dad looks back at me, and he's like, "What the hell was that?" I was trying to stop him. Like, he was on a dead walk, and to me, I'm like, well, this deer, he needs to stop at some point for Dad to get a shot. I thought for sure if he didn't, like, he wasn't going to stop and he was going to be gone. So I'm like, I'm going to stop him. And instead of giving him, I didn't know what the little mouth, I didn't know what that was at that point. So I just grunt tubed it and was like, right down this thing's throat, dude. Oh my gosh, it was friggin' insane. But it was even more insane that we were literally down twice, part of the way down the ladder twice, and had to get back up to get to, for these deer coming in. That was hilarious. One of the sob stories. I remember Dad telling that story to literally everybody, and just listening to him and watching him tell the story and laughing and like looking at me like, I don't know what the hell you were thinking, but
I messed up.
I fucked up.
That's so funny.
It was hilarious.
My goodness.
It was hilarious. But yeah, Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
And especially happy Father's Day to all the fathers who have instilled the outdoor mindset and lifestyle into their offspring. That's good shit.
That is good shit.
It's good shit. Look forward to doing that one day myself.
Oh, yeah.
Breeding some new ones. Oh, boy. Well, I know you got to get rolling, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Well, that's a good place to stop for today. I probably should get to work today too. But yeah, we will have Food Plot Chronicles coming out later this week, so looking forward to that. And once we start laying them out there, we'll have them coming out to you guys the next 6-8 weeks. So one of our favorite series of the year is upon us.
Sure is.
I'm actually looking at a piece of ground on Wednesday here down in Tennessee.
Oh, nice.
Potential to plant a plot, a little one, I think.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Hell yeah. We'll be talking about that next week.
Food Plot Chronicles, Southern Exposure. Food Plot Chronicles on the Southern Basin.
The Southern Tier. My camera just died.
Well, that's a good way to shove it up your ass and send it off. So, everybody, you guys have a fantastic week. Remember to follow us Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe to us on Spotify. And we'll see you right back here on Hump Day next week for a little bit more goose chasing.
Goose chasing. Love y'all.
Peace.